Penn State for the whiteout game, and they played Ohio State, right?
No, that they play
No,
in Minnesota. So yeah,
Minnesota. Okay,
there was a big dilemma among Penn State fans this year because they like to have their whiteout game at night. But
right.
again, we go back to the Fox Big Noon thing, and Fox Big Noon had selected the Ohio State game far in advance to be a noon kickoff. And then Penn State kind of had to decide, all right, do we want to do this noon kickoff our white game, or do we want to make, another game our whiteout game where we can have it at night? So they decided to do it against Minnesota, which they were looking pretty good at the time. They only had two
Yeah,
losses, but I'll tell you what, man, that those fans at Penn State, they're some of the best fans I've met. That place was rocking. That's one of the best entrances I've ever seen.
oh yeah, I
It,
like their entrance, and it's
yeah,
so cool when it's all white too. And it does look better at night on TV, but man, it looks good in the daytime too. There's just something about that white and that navy. It pops.
yeah, and they play that coming in the air tonight before the
Yes,
guys come out, and then they start the Zombie Nation chant, and then everybody starts going, "We are Penn State." And
yes.
it gets crazy, and then they run out and there's fireworks everywhere, and it was awesome.
Just college
Yeah.
football at its absolute finest. I've never been to a game there. And of course, I haven't. LSU played Penn State a handful of years ago in a bowl game. They lost a close. We played them a couple times, but it's on my bucket list without a doubt. I want to go. I want to go to Happy Valley. I want to see
Yeah,
that,
it's
and I've always heard that their fans are as good and as nice and as hospitable as anybody you'd ever meet. So that's good to hear.
oh yeah, well they have this thing, it's called Happy Valley Hospitality, and it's a real thing. And they even have this thing on they put it all over the place. They in the stadium, they remind fans to be gracious hosts. It's pretty cool to see. Yeah,
You didn't
I
get
got
that in
invited to.
Tiger. You didn't get that in Tiger
Yeah,
Stadium the other
yeah.
night, did you?
I didn't see that,
We're very
but
friendly hosts, generally not to
oh yeah,
Alabama or anybody else in the SEC, but everybody else, come on, you're more than welcome. We'll
yeah,
even be nice to you in the stadium, not Alabama.
yeah. No, I definitely understand that. The thing about Penn State though is it's very hard to get to. It's in the middle of nowhere. I spent a few nights in Pittsburgh that week because I'd never been there before, and I've
Hmm.
always liked the skyline. Then
Yeah.
I had to rent a car and drive 2.5, 3 hours over to Penn State.
Oh, geez.
But it was beautiful there. The foliage was popping. Penn State's a huge ag school too, so it was interesting. We were tailgating around tractors and grain mills, and
It's the Auburn of the North.
yeah, I think so. That's probably pretty accurate. There's just
Yeah.
wide open fields everywhere for tailgating, and that's the second biggest stadium in North America behind the Big House.
Okay, well, it looks huge on TV, of
Yeah,
course. They both do monster stadiums. Now, Michigan's is kind of built into the ground, isn't it? In a
yeah,
way, that's what I've
exactly.
heard. Yeah,
Yeah, so the sound doesn't it kind of goes straight up,
and that's
but
kind of weird, but I guess they had their reasons. I think at one point in time I watched a documentary or something that kind of explained why it was built that way. I don't remember now. I've slept since
yeah,
then, but but
but
interesting,
yeah, Michigan likes to play the Seven Nation Army song
right?
before kickoffs, and that's pretty cool because everybody gets going and it gets loud in there. Make no mistake about it, it's not quiet at all. It's just
Oh no, no,
not as
right?
loud as some of these other places. But I'd love to go back there for a night game.
Oh yeah, dude, absolutely. I'd love to go there for a night game. They're
Yeah,
very rare, and but
yeah, yeah.
it's one that stadium looks incredible at night too. It's just I just prefer night games. Naturally, being an LSU fan, that's been built into our DNA. But
Oh yeah.
I mean, ultimately, I think it makes everything look just it just looks so much better under the lights.